I've got the answer right here, ladies and gentlemen, to everything that ails you. Now step right up.
One who quacks like a duck about his salves and remedies. The cruel practice of making money on people's worries feared throughout the years as quackery.
I said cured of backache, nervousness,
any number of diseases.
Folks, welcome back to another episode of Quackery. Here with you, as always, is your co-host, Will the Pill, and our main man, John Boy. We're coming at you over the World Wide Web this week. All right, so we are back here with another episode of Quackery. This week we are talking about the amazing story of this bullshit called Oscillococcinum. Oscillococcinum. That's how you say it. You've probably seen it in the pharmacy. It's the really long name, Oscillococcinum.
It's funny because just looking at the picture, you could tell they could barely fit the title on the
name
box.
Even on there. Yeah. So you've heard of it, right, John? Or
No,
have you seen that box before?
I've never seen this box. I don't go into the pharmacy though. You know?
Oh, that's true.
I mean,
true.
the street pharmacy maybe, but...
That's right. You get all your stuff off the street. That's right. Well, the box, if you look at it, it says nature's #1 flu medicine, and it's for symptoms of flu. Homeopathic medicine from Boiron. Put Boiron.
Is this over the counter?
So it is. Yeah, you'll find it like in the cold and flu section. Let me see. All right, this is the Google pronunciation. I'll put it on the...
Oscillococcinum.
Oscillococcinum was coined. The phrase was coined by a French physician named Dr. Joseph Roy. Dr. Roy, who lived between 1891 and 1978. Surprise, surprise, turn of the century guy. He coined the phrase Oscillococcinum. And it was, he said that because he was looking at the blood of every sick person that came through, and he had one of those, those old, just like what are those microscopes? Just the visual microscopes, not the So it was just like a lens, like a single lens light microscope. So it can't go that much. But anyway, so he was looking at the blood of everyone. This microscope. He said that it was oscillating. So the bacterium was oscillating when they were sick, which means it was changing inside, like changing inside. So he decided that this must be the greatest discovery in the history of the world, that this universal germ, this one oscillating, this Oscillococcinum, was causing everybody's sicknesses, all disease. So he set out to find the source of this new bacterium. So his oscillating bacteria was found in every disease. He looked at, it included herpes, chickenpox, eczema, tuberculosis, measles, even cancer. Of course, without even getting into, why this is so bad, you can already tell a couple problems. Some of those are viruses.
Yeah.
So with the microscope, his optical lens microscope that he had, he would not been, they're too small. You can't see them with that. So obviously he was looking at just some bacteria that wasn't the disease. And the other problem is nobody has been able to observe what he's talking about. So you can't see viruses with the microscope he have, and no one else has been able to duplicate his results. But that did not stop Dr. Roy.
They're not rotating like he said, or oscillating?
Well, he said he saw something that was oscillating. What the hell that was, who knows? But no one has been able to see an oscillating bacterium or any critter like that oscillates in a that causes any disease. So they haven't been able to find
that. It could be what it reminds me of. There's a one of these old astronomers 200 years ago said that he said Mars. He was looking at Mars, and he said Mars has all these channels of water. And he was like looking through his telescope, and you see all these water channels. So he wrote this whole thing about how there's aliens up there. And anyway, the long story short is he was seeing, the eyeball has like the floaters in it and stuff like that. But when you're
you're
looking
seeing
at
the reflection.
yeah, he was actually seeing his own.
That could be it too.
Yeah, that's
he
what-
might be seeing his own eye floaters.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Just floating
That's what it
around.
kind of reminded me of when you said that. So maybe.
Interesting. That's actually probably pretty likely. That's probably what it was. Actually, nice one. But anyway, he did say that he found the source of his oscillating bacterium. Okay, it wasn't his eye floaters. It was apparently in the liver of a Long Island duckling. So that's where it came from. The Long Island duckling, which are like the white-looking ducks.
Yeah.
Pretty standard, like an Aflac duck.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what the Long Island Long Island ducks look like. So he tried to make a vaccine with the liver. Just put some. Anyway, it didn't work. He just tried to use the liver and inject it into people. That didn't work. But good old Dr. Roy was still not going to quit. He decided he was going to give them to people in pills. So, a homeopathic principle of like cures like. So their idea was a little bit of something, the thing that causes an illness will cure it.
Yeah.
Like cures like would be a principle from the homeopathic world that has pretty much been disproven in almost every way. Except there are some things where it works, like for instance, allergy shots. So if you give a tiny bit of the allergen to someone over time, then they'll sort of build up a resistance to it and they won't be as allergic to it. But if you mess that up and you give them too much, then they can become more allergic to it. So it's really a delicate thing. But most things, like a little bit of it, except for, I would say that vaccines did not qualify because you're giving weakened or attenuated to cause that. So,
That's what I was going to ask because it does sound like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sort of is like that. But yeah, you don't eat those either. But yeah, I mean, it's not like a completely wrong idea, just mostly wrong. Like I can see the reasoning why they might think that, like with vaccines and with like allergy and like, if I just have a little bit of hot pepper every day, then the hot stuff's not going to affect me so much, I'll get used to it. You're getting used to it. Cancer. You just get a little cancer every day. You're going to get used to it. I don't know. But that's the problem with certain things. It's like making these blanket statements. Like cures like for everything will work. Obviously, it's not going to be. But so what he did was he made himself a product that had a tiny bit, and like the tiny bit of duck liver for people to treat all sorts of things. So let's talk about, when we say tiny, let's talk about tiny. So the ingredients of a 1 gram tube of Oscillococcinum are listed as follows. This is directly from the box. The active ingredient, which is Anis barbarae hepatus et cordis extractinum, which is extract of a Muscovy duck liver. They changed it to Muscovy duck. It must be cheaper. I'll talk about that in a minute. And so they put the liver and heart. 200 CK HPUS 1 times 10 minus 400 grams. What that would be is ultimately the mass of a proton is much, much more
What?
than the amount of active ingredient in this pill. A proton.
What?
Now, for those of you who don't know, that's one of the building blocks of the universe.
What?
And so
How did they
the
even...
amount of the drug in this pill is less than a proton.
So they must, when they make it, it must be extremely diluted because there's no way they could just have a dropper and put that one thing in there.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll explain how they get how they do it. But let's just go over this too. So if you look at the packaging, it will say inactive ingredients per gram, 0.85 grams of sucrose and 0.15 grams of lactose. I mean, I'm not a whiz at math, but 0.85 and 0.15 usually add up to 1, right? So that's 100% sugar. Oof. So
oh my God.
200 CK. So it actually talks about how the preparation of how they get to it. So here's how it works. They do 200 dilutions of the starting ingredient, which the starting ingredient is the extract of the heart and liver of the duck, that they take a 1 to 1,000 dilution each time where the very first mixture only contains 1% of the extract. Then the second contains 1% of that.
Oh my God.
And so on. And that's prepared by the Korsakovian method, where that's the CK. So instead of being measured out at each stage, they continue to fill the vial that had like the trace amount into it with water, shake it up, and then pour it out and do that 200 times. So they're basically rinsing it 200 times and then getting whatever's left.
So it's basically just sugar.
So they said it's nothing.
Yeah, there's there's probably some pills that don't even have a trace of this in it, even a proton. You know?
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean,
so the company so they actually interviewed the spokeswoman a couple years ago, Gina Casey, and they were like, "Hey, is this do you think the Oscillococcinum is safe?" And she said, "Of course it's safe. There's nothing in it."
What? She's
the woman who's the spokesperson. I'm like, what?
How is that even gonna? Oh, dude, this is crazy.
So what's crazy is that was like what Dr. Roy came out with those pills, and you figured like, oh, no one's gonna buy this crap, right? Well,
everyone buys it.
In Europe, people started buying it, and then later in the United States, they started selling it for cold and flu. So Dr. Roy, of course, said that it would also work for cancer, syphilis, scabies, tuberculosis. But anyway, whenever Boiron or whatever, it's Boiron. I guess that's Boiron. Boiron would probably be a better name.
I don't know, man.
Boiron.
Boiron. I don't know. That's weird. Is that German?
Boiron. French. So anyway, they said they only recommend it for flu-like states. You got to be good with your wording. They only asked for like just over $1 for a gram. And they said that every year, hundreds of thousands of French people buy this product.
That's crazy, man.
If you remember, it's hard to remember now because of COVID, but there was like a particularly bad flu season. It was in between now and the swine flu. There was like a bad cold season, and there was this rumor going around and that people were taking elderberry syrup and this Oscillococcinum, and it would completely eradicate the flu within like a day.
Jeez.
And of course that's not true because this stuff is extremely diluted duck liver. So what's crazy to me is this stuff is on the shelves in your local pharmacy right now, which is ridiculous. There's nothing in it. It's just sugar. It's literally sugar pills that people will buy and they think it works. And I mean,
is there a placebo effect
sense
with curing the flu? I mean,
there is a placebo effect almost with everything. So that's probably what they're getting there.
Yeah.
So they recommend it for prevention, which is 1 dose per week in the flu season, and as a cure. So you can take it more often, whenever you have the flu. And you're not allowed to, over the whole course of the flu season, to take a whole bunch. You can't just take a whole bunch at once. No, that won't work. You have to take it. You have to parcel them out.
Because you'll become a diabetic if you take them all.
It's probably true. You get the liver and the sugar. It'd be too much for you. You might almost get a proton's worth of liver in there. Yeah. I mean, there's no way to explain how it could work.
I mean, can't you buy duck liver like at the store and cook it up?
Oh yeah,
and get an entire liver.
I love some pate.
Is that what it's called, pate?
Some duck liver. Well, that's one way that they prepare it. Like they make the little, the soft meat that you can scoop and put on crackers.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the funny part is all this sounds like just like 1900s quackery, but it's in the stores. It's people, and it's like literally. We would have droves of people coming into the pharmacy looking for this crap a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it was completely sold out. I mean, this stuff was like Beanie Babies, okay, in the 90s, all right?
Crazy,
you couldn't find it. And it was all nonsense. To save money, they switched to Muscovy duck heart, and they did the heart and liver. And I'm like, well, how the hell
save money?
Is it costing them very much money? You probably are still on the same goddamn duck from fucking 1902, and you still ain't used this whole heart and liver
to save money.
Jesus.
It's
I
like one
mean-
duck per like 100,000 pills.
At least I would think it's got to be more.
Oh
I
my
mean, come on.
God, dude, that's
It
crazy.
must just go bad. They must have to kill another one. 'Cause you know what you could probably do is, man, you could get in there and just keep the thing alive and just keep nicking off a little tiny
Oh
piece.
my God, poor
You know?
duck.
The liver regenerates.
Oh, does it?
I think it does a little
Oh my
bit.
God.
If I remember correctly. Hold on, let's look this up.
I
'cause
feel
know.
bad for the duck, man. That's crazy.
Liver can regenerate after either surgical removal or chemical injury. It's known that as little as 51% of the liver mass can regenerate back to its full size. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So yeah, you could just keep the duck alive, you know, or hopefully they're eating, the rest of the duck if they're doing that. Just so weird.
Hey, so
All right, so let's talk about studies. I know we don't really need to, but I got them. So go ahead, though.
oh no, I was gonna ask. So the guy that saw the oscillating germs, was he like already consuming duck liver? Like, how did he actually come to duck liver cures?
It's an excellent question. I have no idea. It just said that's where he found the source. It probably was like the first thing he looked at.
Yeah.
He's like, well, let's try this duck
Yeah.
because I see one here.
'Cause
and
the
he
goat-
probably got his eye floater
Yeah.
and saw it again.
The goat balls guy. I mean, he looked out of his window and saw the goats, and he's like, "Well, I've already got the goats."
Dude, so great. I love that one. Oh, man. Y'all need to go watch that documentary if you haven't.
Yeah.
Nuts.
It's good. I've watched it.
So good. Man, I might watch that one again just
I still got to watch that Baby
for,
God
just for
one.
fun. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I need to
too.
watch that one.
Yeah, I'm looking for like more. If anybody has any good recommendations for some that I can watch and cover for some topics, because those always make for really good topics whenever they cover them like that. Just hit us up, quackerypodcast@gmail.com anytime. I'll be there. I say that because we hadn't been checking our social media as much lately because those documentaries.
Are you off?
Are
you getting off?
I mean, I'm like reduced.
Yeah, that's good.
Significantly.
Yeah.
I just go on there to see what Elon Musk has to say about Dogecoin. Other than that,
Oh, is that the new thing?
I'm off. No, I mean not really. It's like a joke coin that was made, and now like Elon Musk is like getting everybody to buy it. But they said it's not going to go up like the other stuff has because it doesn't have a limit on how many coins are in circulation. So as people continue to mine them, the value will just it'll continue to go dilute.
Yeah.
Whereas like Bitcoin, I guess there can only be so many in circulation or whatever, which with that, I don't understand how they can get value from mining them then. I don't know.
Well, yeah, so
I guess maybe it just decreases the amount of a coin that you get every time that you do a flop. I don't know.
I don't know. I know the mining gets
That's
really
probably
expensive somehow. I don't know how it works. Something about mathematical
The
equations.
reason it's expensive is just power.
Yeah, but like the
That's
computer has to solve all these mathematical equations or something to mine.
Yeah, I mean
one.
it's just verifying the ledger, which is pretty damn cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like somebody gave us that technology from the future.
That is a cool idea
It can't be damn. Yeah, that is
because it eliminates the need for a middle party, a bank.
Yeah, it 100% right. And it's tamper proof, and I mean you can't mess with it. The only problems for people are that we're bad with our passwords. So if you lose your password and stuff like that, it's bye.
Just use the same password for everything, like I do.
That's it. That's what I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or password 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3,
if they
4.
make you do letters. So it's the type of password an idiot would have on his luggage. Go get them and change my luggage. Change my luggage pass combination. You seen that Spaceballs?
Oh yeah, man.
Hell yeah! Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So damn good. All right, so studies. 2005, they reviewed flu treatments, which was the homeopathy versus actual medicine versus the vaccine. And in their review of Oscillococcinum, it was 100% unsupported by any evidence of efficacy. So it didn't even come up with numbers. It just said it's wrong, gone. 2007, they were checking all the non-mainstream remedies, and they said that any evidence that was brought up by the makers of, I guess, Boiron or whoever, they said that they would have too small sample sizes. Their methodology was extremely poor quality, and they would have like clinically irrelevant effect sizes. And that would be like saying, okay, we cherry picked our data for people who took this who were like super healthy, and like we showed that like, oh, it decreased how they felt bad by like 1 day for like really young healthy people, and some stuff like that. So it basically came up that the results they also didn't throw out like if they were taking other things for flu.
Okay.
So so in another one like that, they're like, well, any evidence on this one was due to,
yeah, is the FDA?
It was just bad research.
Are they trying to take them down because it's just nothing? I mean, why are they doing these studies?
Yeah, it's so this was just these weren't the FDA doing these. These were just studies of just different researchers were doing studies. And then a Cochrane review in 2015 found there was insufficient evidence to make any conclusion whether oscillococcinum was useful at all for influenza. So basically all these were coming up with, and it's one of those where it's like, well, since it's like a quote unquote natural thing, that there's not going to be a lot of big money studies for it, because as we've talked about, if someone's doing quackery and they're making their money, they don't want to go put money into a study and for them to end up finding out that it doesn't work. And then they just spent money on a study that now they're not going to make money.
Exactly.
Heck no. They're going to want to just keep the ball rolling. So these are all going to be small, like low budget funded things, like probably university studies from, no big timers. But yeah, so speaking of the FDA, all right, so on June 8th, 2010, well, no, this was the U.S. FDA and Federal Trade Commission sent a joint warning letter to Homeopathy for Health of Moses Lake, Washington, indicating 2 claims made for Oscillococcinum were illegal. So first, they put out that Anus barbarae hepatis et cordi extractum, a nasode made from a foul bird source. So they said it made it look like the product. Let's see, that was their exact quote, was a nosode made from a bird fowl source. So look at this product for emergency preparedness for swine flu, which is a mutation of a bird or avian influenza, swine influenza, and human influenza.
Oh,
so they basically put a thing on there that said that since it's from a bird, it could cure bird flu, and so why not swine flu?
Jeez.
Well, that's a leap. And then it would say, use Oscillococcinum for fast release of flu infection symptoms. So the letter sent to Boiron Incorporated stated, you take immediate action to ensure that your firm is not marketing and does not market in the future products intended to diagnose, mitigate, prevent, treat, or cure the H1N1 flu virus that have not been approved, cleared, or authorized by the FDA. So basically, their product has not been proven to cure the flu, and they said that it will be good for fast release of flu infection symptoms and will work for swine flu because it's from a bird, which is less than a proton's worth of duck liver. It'd be like saying that, getting a foie gras.
You know what they need to figure out? They need to figure out if ducks get the flu. Because if ducks out there
then
getting the
really
flu,
market it.
Then
they already have the liver inside of them.
Exactly.
Well, no, that's the no. See, that would prove their point too if ducks get the flu, because the oscillating bacteria is in their livers, so the bad is in them. So they got so much of it. You only need a little bit to make you better.
Yeah,
they got too much. That's the problem.
There you go.
That's why you shouldn't be taking too much. Yeah. So there was a class action lawsuit filed on behalf of them, on behalf of all California residents who purchased it any time in the past 4 years. And they falsely advertised that Oscillococcinum has the ability to cure the flu because it contains an active ingredient that is proven to get rid of flu symptoms in 48 hours, which obviously we know it doesn't. And they also, so you like how they had it all in Latin?
Yeah.
They didn't list it as it is. So they got sued. They were required them to change that to also in parentheses list it as Muscovy duck liver and heart instead of the whole Latin name,
Jesus.
which is pretty sneaky because it looks a lot more medicine-y.
Yeah.
It looks legit. So they had to, of course, Boiron or whatever the hell their name is, denied any wrongdoing whatsoever, and they made several changes, which that was one of them they had to make. And they also had to explain that it's not been evaluated, obviously, by the FDA, which I thought all that kind of stuff had to do that, but maybe they were one of the first ones to have to do that. And also they had to explain what the CK and the CK and X that they're actually dilutions. They don't have anything to do with medicine because they listed on the package like it's some sort of ingredient.
Yeah,
but it's just a way that they mix the stuff. Yeah. So pretty crazy there.
Yeah.
And then also there were other lawsuits about their claims to treat the flu, which obviously we've seen it doesn't. But it hasn't been taken off the shelves. I
wonder if it's hurt their sales
which is
at all, because the people really...
I don't see a lot of people buying it at my pharmacy,
okay.
but I have talked to some people I know who like are pretty intelligent people, and they were like, oh yeah, I usually take it when I get a flu and it helps. And I'm like, well, you know what's in it, right? They're like, well, no, it's all like in Latin and it's like got all these numbers and letters. And I was like,
crazy.
Yeah. It's like there's nothing in there. It's duck liver, but not really.
It's a proton.
Like, really? I feel so embarrassed. It's like, well, it's okay. I mean, that's why they've been sued is because it's like false advertising. It's misleading. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's not a very long story. Dr. Roy probably got an eye floater in his in his microscope, and it led to people taking sugar pills with less than a drop of duck liver in there.
Yeah.
So pretty fun story. You got any questions on that one?
No, I've never seen the drug, man. Honestly, but I'll definitely look for it next time I'm in CVS.
You'll see it, man.
Whatever pharmacy I go to.
Yeah, I mean, it should be in. I mean, you probably will see it in the grocery store by the pharmacy. Anywhere, whichever pharmacy you go to.
Okay, sweet.
It's in all of them.
Nice.
It's crazy. I mean, don't buy it. I would not recommend anyone buy it because it's just sugar.
Yeah.
You do better off getting some good candy.
Good candy.
Yeah. At least then it won't have some weird person mixing, putting trace amounts of liver in there. You just go eat your liver if you want some liver.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, well, I guess that's it for Oscillococcinum. I also think that the fact that the name's really hard to pronounce and stuff, it looks more legit too.
Yeah.
And all that stuff on the back, man. Hey, man, they got a good thing rolling for them. They basically have to spend almost no money and just sell this stuff, man. It's a nice racket.
I'm jealous.
It's some real quackery.
Yeah.
I know, man.
It's almost better than the seatbelt for your brain.
Oh, man. We got to come up with our own thing, the seatbelt for your brain. We come up with our own quackery, I'm telling you, then we can retire the show. Then someone can do an episode on us.
Yeah, true.
I'll be thinking on it.
Nice.
I'll be thinking on it. What's everyone's weird? Well, you can always jump in on COVID cures because, they don't really get in that much trouble for it.
Yeah, that's true.
But that boat's, kind of sailed. We're getting the vaccine going now. So
yeah,
for those of you who think that it's real and it works, and it won't cause autism. All right. Well, that's gonna be our show, I guess. If this episode really quacked y'all up and you want to support the crew, head on over to quackerypodcast.com/join and become an official quackhead. If you have an idea for a topic you want us to cover, let us know. Make sure and hit that subscribe button. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. That makes such a huge difference, y'all. Tell your friends. And as always, keep calm and quack on. And don't buy Oscillococcinum.